Hey there everybody, welcome back to the drip irrigation video tutorial series brought to you guys by the Long Beach Water Department and the Smart Irrigation Program. My name is Dominic Masiello with DP Environments and founder of budgetplants.com. This is the third video in our three-part series where we're going to talk about troubleshooting and care of your drip irrigation system. So let's get started. The first thing I want to stress to you guys are that drip systems are not a set it and forget it type of system. There are some things you're going to want to keep an eye on, watch out for, and some things you're going to have to do for a long-term care. Since the emitting holes on a drip system are much smaller than a conventional spray head system, they do have the potential to clog up with little pieces of sediment or even calcification. So you're going to want to check your system on a regular basis to make sure all your components are dripping properly. The first system I want to discuss with you guys in the drip system is this guy right here. This is an anti-siphon valve, and simply put, it turns the water automatically on and off to your drip system. Now there's really not a whole lot of maintenance you're going to have to do on this, but I do want to share some troubleshooting tips with you guys. Now, a very common problem you might see with these types of valves is that they have the potential to maybe not shut off all the way. And what you'll notice in your landscape is pooling of water or a constant saturated soil. So I want to show you guys how to check your valve in case it's not fully closing all the way. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is unscrew this front cap right here. This is the anti-siphon portion of the valve, and it just unscrews very simply like that. Now what you're going to see when you look down inside is a little chamber filled with water. From here, you'll need to absorb that water to remove it from the chamber with a sponge or some paper towels to empty out that chamber. Then you're going to want to see if over a period of just a couple of minutes that chamber slowly fills back up. If it does fill back up, you'll know that there's something wrong with the valve. Now if you do find that your valve has a problem, you're going to want to remove this back portion right here. Just note that not all valves give you that option to remove that section. On this valve that we're looking at right here, note that I've already removed the screws for you, so we can easily pull this off. There's a small rubber gasket that can easily be removed, like this. So oftentimes, this little rubber diaphragm will be the culprit for why your valve is not completely closing. What may happen is you might get a little piece of sediment that gets caught inside the diaphragm, or there might be a buildup of calcification. So you might just simply need to clean off this diaphragm, then put it back on the valve cap and put the cap back on the valve. Then test the system again. If you don't have any leaks and your valve turns on and off just fine, you've solved the problem. Now in some cases, you might not be able to do the quick fix, and it's oftentimes easier just to cut the valve off and simply replace the whole unit. The second component I want to talk to you guys about is the solenoid. This sits on top of the valve, and it's the actual mechanism that is triggered by your timer to make the valve turn on and off. And sometimes they can become faulty over time. And it's a very simple fix. All you have to do is unscrew it out of the top of the valve, like that. Purchase a new one at your local store and screw it right back on. And of course, you're then going to have to wire it back up to your timer, obviously. You may have to replace your solenoid on average every 5 to 7 years. The next item I want to tell you guys about is the pressure reducing filter combination seen here. This goes on the outflow part of the valve. It's got two main functions. Obviously, it reduces pressure for your drip system. The second function is it helps catch any sediment that might be in the line, which happens to pass through the valve. Yearly maintenance of your drip system should include cleaning this filter out, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Simply unscrew this portion of the filter right here, pull it out, and you're going to notice a small screen. Now from here, you simply remove this screen and just clean it out. You might notice that there's a certain amount of sediment in there. Now if you notice a whole lot of sediment in here, you're probably going to want to clean it out a couple times a year. So just be conscious of how much this screen is actually catching. Put the screen back in the housing when you're done cleaning it out and screw it back into your unit like that. Make sure it's nice and tight. Test the valve when you're done to make sure there's no leaks, and that's it. Now let's take a look at point source emitters. These are the two different types of point source emitters that we learned about. One is adjustable and one is fixed. Now, since these have very small ports to deliver water, they do have the tendency to clog up every now and again from sediment or even calcification. So on your adjustable emitters, you can simply give them a little half turn and then a half turn back. And oftentimes that's enough just to clear the sediment or the calcification buildup. Now let's look at the fixed emitter. You don't have the ability to turn this one left or right. So you may have to physically take it off of your extension line and blow it out like that, or clean it out with a little bit of water and put it back on the line, and it's as simple as that. The next component I want to talk to you guys about is the drip line with built-in emitters. And I want to show you guys this in a real-life application. So let's take a walk to the garden. Now, sometimes punctures may appear in the drip line that you're going to have to repair. So make sure you have several of these couplings handy. These are the same things you use just to connect the tube itself. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut where the puncture occurs. Just like that. You may notice some water coming out of both ends. So now I'm simply going to take one of these couplings right here, push it on one end, just like that. And I'm going to take the other end of the drip line and push it together, just like that. Simple as pie. And now my line is repaired. Easy. Anybody can do that, right? Before we close, I want to go over one more component with you guys, and that is the flush valve. This typically wants to be installed at the lowest point of your drip system where all the sediment may collect. About once a year, you're going to want to open this valve while the system is running for about 5 seconds to blow out all the sediment, then close it off again. And that's all you have to do. So that wraps us up for this troubleshooting and maintenance video of your drip system and our 3-part drip irrigation video series. My name is Dominic Masiello, and thanks for watching.